Hello, everyone, and welcome to the only live webcast that brings you the passion, the power, and the pulse of the mighty One New Zealand Warriors. This is Ruin Hammer Live, the official webcast of Warrior Nation, who are the official Aussie-based Warriors supporters movement. I'm your host, Hammer, and joining me, as usual, is my co-host and fellow Warriors Tragic, Warrior-Roo, Rob. How have you been, mate? How's your week been? I know how your week's been because you spent it down here.
Yeah, mate, it was an absolutely sensational weekend. Flew down to Sydney on late Saturday afternoon. Had a great dinner and out at Brighton. Then we went first thing Sunday morning. Went up to Newcastle and had an awesome time out there, mingling with all the Warrior Nation faithful, all the other Wars fans, and the game itself. We'll get into that in more detail a little bit later. But mate, absolutely fantastic weekend, capped off by that outrageous final 30 seconds of that game. But yeah, otherwise doing good. But yeah, another busy start to the week.
Yep.
It's a bit weird up here. There's a winter storm. Whoever has winter storms, but apparently we do, and we're just having one now. So if there's any disruptions or any more internet or anything, that's why. But yeah, how have you been, mate? You recovered? You've got. How many times have you watched the replay? Come on, be honest.
The replay of the game just the once. The replay of that last try, quite a bit, quite a few times. Before I get into anything, I just want to give a shout out to my mum who had her operation last weekend. She's finally out of hospital. Now recovering with that pacemaker in, so she should outlive us all with that pacemaker in now. So yeah, so Mum, hope you're doing well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all the best, Mary. But I think we needed pacemakers as well.
But yes, I have watched it quite a bit. I did get a lot of messages saying that we made the Channel 9 coverage quite a bit on the weekend. And I will say, before we get into anything, I will say I'm pretty disappointed with the Aussie media because I watched NRL 360 on Monday night and I watched NRL 360 again last night. And Monday night, all they spoke about was the Dragons getting ripped off, how Lachlan Galvin was the bravest guy ever to throw a cutout ball at the end of a game. They spoke about one of the greatest finishes in rugby league history and then showed highlights of the Manly-Melbourne game and did not mention the Warriors once. And then I thought, okay, well, they'll do that on Tuesday. And on Tuesday night on NRL 360, different journos, but they had the same agenda, spoke about the exact same thing. So that show's lost to me. Moving forward,
NRL Facebook page, they had a selection of photos from the great moments over the weekend, and they only had one photo from our game, and it was just of CHT on the ground flicking the ball back. I was like, honestly,
yeah. And then
commented, well, there was a slightly better photo from that game that you guys haven't shown.
I did jump onto YouTube tonight before we got on live here and saw that 100% footy, which I never watch on Channel 9 because I don't watch a lot of free-to-air stuff, actually dedicated 9 minutes in their broadcast, and I don't know whether that was Monday night or Tuesday night, speaking about that finish and talking about the game and the Warriors run home and a whole lot of other things. So, yeah, you can jump onto YouTube and watch that one. But NRL 360, absolutely crickets chirping in regards to Warriors. So, yeah, very disappointed. But as I said in the opener, we'll get on with the show. As I said in the opener, Ruin Hammer are the official webcast of Warrior Nation. And we're now going live on our Ruin Hammer Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and the Warrior Nation Facebook page. With a blessing of the Warrior Nation godfather, Richie Morgan. So thank you to Richie.
Rich.
We'll talk a little bit more about Richie and the Warrior Nation in a minute. On tonight's show, we will look at the Warriors NRL and NRLW doubleheader against the Knights at McDonald Jones Stadium, where we were. Chat about our game day experience with the Warrior Nation. We'll give a quick review of both the NRL and NRLW rounds. Preview the Warriors round 21 game against the Titans and the women's round 4 game against the Titans. And we'll talk a little bit of general footy. let's get into it, mate. Warriors 20, Knights 15. Before we get into the game, how good was that game day experience on Sunday? Yeah, drove up there early Sunday morning. Happened to meet Richie on the side of the road after we parked the car, and got ourselves off to West New Lambton, I think it was, the Leagues Club there at New Lambton.
Yep.
Met up with a whole lot of the Warrior Nation, the usual suspects, Michael Johannick and Aaron Powell, who flew over from New Zealand, Troy Adamson, Ricky Castle, who came down from Queensland, and then all the New South Wales-based Warrior Nation people. Awesome event, wasn't it, bud?
Oh, it was so good. It just keeps getting better and better, and the word is getting out there, and everyone is really keen to be part of this Australian game day experience. As we said numerous times, as Richie's told you guys, every time he's on, like, it's just a completely different vibe over here in Australia. We're loud, we're proud, we're rowdy, we're all those things, and everyone's starting to recognise them. And you could hear it coming through the telecast of the game when we rewatched it. You could just hear it. It was just, it's literally, it's just such a fun vibe.
Yeah.
It's so enjoyable. Everyone's awesome. Everyone gets on great. There's no egos or anything. Everyone just gets in there and has a great time. The chants, fantastic. Aaron on the drum, and we're going on 3 whānau, we're going on 2 whānau.
Yeah,
mate, he was brilliant. Kept us all in the game because we needed it, and the boys needed a lift. And let's not forget that there is evidence, and if you go and watch our game day vlog, there's video evidence of this. That that started before the game, so you can see that we were practicing that before the game. And geez, didn't that come in handy? But yeah, like it's really cool that now everyone is expecting that that hikoi or that march that just seems to gather momentum whenever we leave the pre-game meetup. Everyone just gets on board, and it's just like a procession on the way to the stadium. And Newcastle was no different, even though the venue was a fair what was it, a 5-10 minute walk away from the stadium.
It was probably about 15 minutes. It was probably about 15 minute walk.
Yeah. So I mean, even then, it just gathered steam to the point where we got outside the stadium and we're crossing the road to McDonald Jones Stadium. We get the cars, horns are honking, and it's just really good. And I think a lot of people start to recognise, like, we have the best fans in the game. Honestly, the amount of participation that we get, the sheer numbers that we get, and as Richie always says, and it's pretty obvious, like, we're such a unique side in that we have 2 really big fan bases in 2 countries. So obviously, predominantly in New Zealand, where Warriors are based, but then over here, you've got all the expat Kiwis. You've got people like there's even people like myself. I used to think I was the only one, but even Australians that have just been swept up in the Wars mania, that are just getting behind the team, and it's such a wonderful movement. That I guess the Up the Wires thing, which kind of started 2 years ago, and now it's just turned into this full blown onslaught. I would describe it as, and everyone recognised it. Even Channel 9, Freddie Fittler came round to our corner and before the game and was recording a piece, and he was like, he was even geeing us up. He was wanting us to get into it. We didn't need a second invitation for that, and mate, that it was all of that combines to like such a awesome, memorable game day experience, and that's before the game's even started. That's true. That's before the game has even started, and I mean, like, at Newcastle, I will say that was my first visit to McDonald Jones Stadium, and it is a really good place to watch footy. It's a fantastic place to watch footy. Our seats were pretty good, even though we were in the corner. We still had a decent view of the whole field, and overall, it was a thoroughly enjoyable game day experience, and I'd definitely be keen to go back to Newcastle and do it again.
Yeah, for me, first time I've actually seen the Warriors win at Newcastle. I've gone up there a couple of times, and there's been a couple of close losses. I even went up there for a test match in 2016, Australia-New Zealand test, where Anzac test, where they lost that. But it is a really great place to watch footy. I've gone to a women's Magic round up there before. couple of years back. But it is. It's a really good place to watch footy. But talking about the Warrior Nation, the movement is real, and I'm just so happy for Richie, because Richie, I mean, you and I have both been members of Warrior Nation for a long, long time. I've been a member of Warrior Nation since Richie first started it way back in 2011. And, you know, over the years, you know, prior to COVID, he used to have this vision where he just wanted the Aussie fans to come together and sit together. And I can remember, you know, back in 2017, 2018, we'd go to games and he would spend the day going around and trying to get Aussie fans to all move from the seats that they're in to come and sit together. And went through COVID. He worked really hard through COVID when the team was based here in Australia to get the fans out to the game, the Aussie fans out to the game. And then, we're at a point now where with the success of the Warriors on the field, it's translating to the movement off the field. And I'm just so happy a guy like Richie, or I'm just so happy, not a guy like Richie, I'm just so happy that Richie is starting to see the fruition of all his hard work. And we see people coming together, buying tickets in that away supporters bay, and everyone sitting together. And as he said, mate, that week on the weekend, that was a small pocket of fans in an area at McDonald Jones Stadium, because it's not an easy trek up the coast from Sydney to get. It's a 2.5 hour drive.
Solid drive, yeah.
And we had a great lot of fans that went up there, sitting in that bay and joining in on the festivities that are created. And, you know, a huge shout out to Aaron Powell, who gets on that drum. And as you said, he really drives it. He's infectious in his in the way that he tries to get everyone involved, and, you know, up and down the stairs, drum in hand, telling everyone, we're going on 3 whānau, this is the chant we're doing, and everyone gets into it, and it's great. And I've got to mention Troy Adamson, who, you know, brings along his camera and takes all the photos for the Warrior Nation.
All those photos on Warrior Nation with from Troy.
Get some great photos. But you know, if you want to be part of the nation, doesn't cost you anything except a ticket to the game.
Don't sit back. Like so many people go, oh, that would have been awesome to be a part of, and I'm really jealous. It was like, guys, anyone can do it.
That's right.
You literally just need to get to the stadium, have your ticket, and then the rest takes care of itself. Get on board. Don't miss out, because I'm telling you, it is a vibe, and you don't want to miss out.
Go to the Warrior Nation page on Facebook, their main page, Warrior Nation. Go to the events, and in the events, it'll have the upcoming different events for each game. So the next one in Australia is when we play the Bulldogs in Sydney. Click on that event, read the info, click going, get your tickets, come and join the nation in Queensland, in Sydney. After that, we're at Seabus Super Stadium at Gold Coast, where there will be a true fan event there as well. And then we've got one later in the year down in Manly. But, don't sit at home and lament and say, oh, gee, I wish I would have had been part of that.
Exactly.
The game day experience is so different now when you're a Warriors fan. And, I'd like to think that maybe it was us as fans that got the boys home on the weekend, because as people are saying in the chat, it wasn't a good performance. Oh, before we move on to the game, how good was it to sit there with Warrior 284 Paulie Roach and watch the women's game? Lovely bloke.
Champion fella,
For those that don't know, Paulie made his debut last year for the Warriors.
End of 23, so final round in 23. Played a handful of games last year as well. Look like his brother.
Yeah, his older brother Nathaniel made his debut way back in
like 2015
or
16, I think, one of those years.
And his sister, I didn't realise, but his sister is Abigail Roach, who plays at the Cowboys. And Paulie's partner, Lydia Turua Quedley, is came off the bench for the Warriors in the women's team, but playing halfback this week. So great to see Paulie Roach there, and we sat with him for the duration of that women's game and had a great chat to him. And
He's probably hoping we left him alone, but no, it was really cool because it's funny. I was there at his debut against the Dolphins in the final round of 2023, and he also famously came on in that Magic round win over the Panthers and played a really good game there as well.
Yeah.
Very unlucky. I mean, we had like a fair bit of dummy half reinforcements coming the off season. Unfortunately, there wasn't a place for him, but we'd like to think that, one day he'll make his way back to the club because, like you said, he's such a lovely guy and we had a really good chat, really down-to-earth fella. And playing at Burleigh at the moment, being coached by, or assistant coached by Warrior 134, Michael Witt.
Yes. Some good comments coming in the chats. James Paul says him and his partner came to the game against the Knights. It was a great experience, and I'd say for anyone that's keen to experience it but hasn't yet, do yourself a favour and do it. And, of course, Lynn Murdoch, who's at all the games here in Sydney, travels over to New Zealand as well, as obviously he has family there. An absolutely fantastic and memorable game day experience and awesome company being so loudly and proudly supporting our One New Zealand Warriors along with Brew and Hammer and Richie from Warrior Nation. So, absolutely fantastic. Rebs Rungy also commenting on how good it is to be part of the nation. So, I mean, we can't say it enough. If you can, get to a game, get on the Warrior Nation page, have a look at the events, buy your tickets in the selected bays, and come and join and the nation and have a great game day experience.
Yeah. Just Stevie, we're going to get to Logan a little bit later, so I'll hold that thought. Yeah.
Keep the comments coming through, guys, and we'll bring them on screen as we move through. The game, mate, a great end result with that freak try from the man Leka Halasima.
Leka the record.
But if we're going to be brutally honest, it was a pretty ordinary performance, to be honest. The win, I feel, masked some real concerns that we have, especially with our right edge defence. That was found out all day. Bradman Best, a couple of breaks. And if you go back and you watch that game, there was a couple of clear breaks where Best, there was one where they passed the ball over the sideline. If Marju had caught it, they scored. There was another one where Best passed, I think, a little bit too early. And he did that 2 times. And Tane was able to turn and chase and make a defensive read quite well. And then everyone's talking about Leka's try, but I think his big play of the game was there was a moment in that first half where the Knights got a 2-on-1 against him, and Fletcher Hunt
jeez,
didn't pass the ball to an unmarked Dom Young, and Leka buried him in the ground, and that was a certain try. And that's 4 certain tries that the Knights bombed that could have put that result out of question for him. The other one, though, is that I wanted to ask you about, mate, is the Wade Egan try. There's an argument either way for that. Wade lands on his back, and yes, his arm, the top half of his arm touches the ground, but as far as I'm concerned, how often have you seen players reach back like that and score a try? And that,
every single week,
for me, is a try every day of the week. And Phil Gould said it best. That's a try in park footy. It's a try in, New South Wales Cup, Jersey Flag. It's only not a try in NRL when they have the bunker come in and adjudicate on these things. And then let's go to the other side, and Newcastle go down the other end of the field, and Greg Marju passes off the ground, and they award that one. It was just bizarre. It was kind of a clear 12-point turnaround, and I think if they give us that try for Wade Egan, I think the game pans out a little bit more. I think Newcastle's hearts would have been broken, and I think we go on with it. But it went the other way, and it was an absolute contest, wasn't it?
It was. The other thing that concerns me and has been concerning me for a long time is in that first half, we had so much sustained pressure attacking their line, and we just didn't come up with points. We got one try through the Boyd Grubber to Pompey.
Yes.
So that got us on the board. I remember saying to you, like, geez, we needed to get that try, because if we didn't get that, we would have had 2 or 3 sets there, and come come away with no reward. Admittedly, the Egan no try did fall in between that, but it seemed like most of that first half we were attacking their line. And, the points just weren't coming. We were going side to side a little bit. We weren't creating any space. We could see it because Dallin's wing was like just right in front of us, and they kept trying to go there, but weren't having any luck. Boyd was landing the ball pinpoint in the corner for Dallin every time, but he was just bottling it. He was didn't have a great day with his hands, and
well, it's interesting you say that, because that's the thing. We get that one try where we put the ball in behind the line and Pompey scores, and then we never went to that play again on a rushing up Newcastle defence. But we kept going to that aerial play to Dallin's wing that didn't come off once. Not once in that whole game.
And it didn't look like it. He never looked like catching it.
No.
He was just out of sorts.
And I get why they went to Dallin's wing, because you're not going to go to Dom Young's wing and see if Roger can. No. Yeah. But it didn't work. And it was probably one of the letdowns of the game was that we were playing against a side that had a guy that's played predominantly his whole career on wing and centre, playing at fullback, an opportunity where we would have probably caught him out of position, which we did for the Pompey try, where we could have tried that a few times, and it may not have come off every time, but I reckon it would have come off more times than that aerial play to Dallin.
At the very least, the line dropout, like you get the next best result. Yes. Yeah, it was curious, but instead the attack just looked clunky again and predictable, just dropping it forward, back on the inside, and there really wasn't much doing, and we didn't look like threatening them at all. And I could just feel it. Like I said, next time Knights get up the other end, they're going to put a try on, and they got a try, and then they got that contentious one. I don't know how the Gagai try was awarded. Neither did Gagai, if you look at his eyes after he was given a try. And then Marcy again in the corner. It was 12-6, and we sort of said at halftime, "Oh, lucky they don't have a goal kicker, because that could have been 18-6, and like we may not have come back from that." But they missed the kicks, and that kept us in it, and we managed to stay with them on the scoreboard. The second half was a little bit of an improvement, but we got back level to 12 all, and then it sort of became an arm wrestle. And I feel that when the game becomes an arm wrestle, we're kind of in our element this year, and those are the games that we have been winning. And when it got to about 10 minutes or under, we were sort of saying to each other, I wouldn't be surprised if they look for a field goal. And right on cue, Tanner Boyd steps up but shanks that field goal attempt with about 9 minutes left.
Yep.
And it's sort of like they're going to try and do what we did against the Dragons, where let's just get our noses in front, and then when we do, we'll back our defence to win the game. And but then what it also does is it shows your hand, because they know that you're already thinking defensively and you're going to go for field goal. So we missed ours. They went down the other end and hit that field goal sort of diagonally in front of us that just dropped over the black dot there. And you sort of were starting to get the feeling that it wasn't going to be our day.
Yep.
And then because we traded penalties, it got back to 14 all, and that. And I mean, when that incident occurred where Boyd went for his second field goal and we challenged it, which we weren't actually challenging. We were challenging contact on the leg.
And there was none.
There was none. There was nowhere near it. But luckily for us, I mean, they're talking about the footy gods there on Channel 9. Gus Gould loves to talk about the footy gods. And anyway, for whatever reason, they picked up the Jackson Hastings wasn't square at marker and enabled him to put extra pressure on Boyd, which something notoriously never gets penalised at all when the game is on the line. Like, they let players just sprint out of the line, even in Golden Point. But because they seem to be sort of cracking down on this sort of thing with pressure on the kickers, and they had to adjudicate on it. They had no choice. And we were all sitting there thinking we've just been handed the game on a platter. But boy, oh boy, that penalty kick, pushing it left. I mean, you can't believe it. Hey, at the time we're just sitting there we were just literally handed the game, and we've blown it.
Yep.
Having said that, those shots they might be sort of almost in front, but fair distance out, and not gimmies. Like you still got to give it a fair bit. And we've seen. It reminded me actually of Magic Round last year when Dylan Edwards missed a similar shot from right in front against us.
Yeah.
So it's not, and Vossi was saying on the commentary as well. These are not gimmies. It was about 30, 35 meters out or something like that. So you still need to give it a good kick, and missed, and then what unfolded, and you can't begin to sort of describe the roller coaster of emotions in that final minute that we went through live, because all that action was all the way up the other end from us. Yeah, we couldn't see it, and then when we saw Lecker break the line, even then, like I think we had to look up at the scoreboard to see what was going on.
Yep.
But just the pure joy and elation that I wish I'd had my camera ready a bit earlier to actually capture that. But that's the nature of being at the game, you know. And you'll see it in the vlog for those who do want to see it through our eyes, I guess. Go and watch our game day vlog on YouTube, because it's pretty raw. And yeah, I mean that's exactly what we went through. It's like that final minute is pretty much encapsulates what it's been like to be a Warriors fan for the past 30 years.
Yeah.
But as you said, the game itself was, from our perspective, pretty average.
Well, like I said at the beginning, it masked a lot of problems that we'll have. Like, we'll walk away from this. We won 20-15. That game's in the bag, and we kind of move on, and we look towards the next game. And that's what rugby league's all about. But you've got to learn the lessons that come out of these games. And one of the biggest lessons for me was on the negative was having Capewell in the centres and Dallin outside him and Tanner Boyd inside him. That right edge defence was very disjointed. And when Marzu scored his try, I went back and I watched that video replay quite slowly so I could see what was going on. And a lot of people blame Dallin for coming in off his wing, and he does it quite often. But, you know, when you're in the defensive line, you're connected to the guy who's inside you. And in this instance, it was Capewell who went in on, I think it was Jackson Hastings, which forces Dallin to come in on Bradman Best. But at the last minute, Capewell shifts his body position and then goes towards Bradman Best. So all of a sudden, we've got two players going on to one player, which created that one-man overlap, and they just give the ball to Marzu and he scores in the corner. I'm not bagging Kurt Capewell by any means of stretch of the imagination. I mean, he's been outstanding for us all season, and there's been games this year where he has played centre where he's been, the difference in defence. Yeah. But someone said it in the chat earlier. Our right edge defence really shored up when Capewell went off injured, and Adam Pompey went to that right edge, and Tamari Martin went on that left edge. There you go. Ted Clark said it. Yeah. So, and I agree. I thought it was. I noticed this week Capewell's been named in the centres again. He's under
injury cloud though. Yeah, because he did pick up a niggle in that game, and that was probably why he was a little bit cumbersome. I think trying to stop Best a couple of times. He just looked like he wasn't moving freely at all. Apparently, it was affecting his lateral movement, which is kind of something you need when you're defending it. That centre. Absolutely.
But again, I think we're fortunate that the Knights didn't have a goal kicker in their ranks on the weekend. It kept that score a little bit closer than what it would have been. But yeah, that end of the game was just I've never experienced anything like that before in my life. Absolutely incredible last minute of football. Well, he scored after the hooter went, didn't he?
Yeah. The time had gone. It was when he picked up the ball, there was like about 3 or 4 seconds left on the clock. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's leaving you run late, but I mean, it's so funny, isn't it? Like that whole last few seconds could have changed our whole outlook on the weekend and everything. But it's amazing the difference that winning makes, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's an important win. It keeps our top four aspirations alive and all but confirmed with our run home, I guess. Got a couple of tough games in that run home, but we should win more than lose, and we should be able to keep that 4-point advantage above the Broncos and the 5-point advantage above the Panthers, because those sides all have tough runs home. Penrith, I think, play Canterbury, Melbourne, and Canberra on their run home. I know Brisbane play Melbourne twice. Melbourne play Penrith, Brisbane twice, and a couple others. So there's a lot of those teams up and around us that have a little bit of a difficult run home. Going to be interesting. But as I said, important win. I thought not being too critical, but I thought the creativity from our halves in this game was lacking a little bit. And we're probably lucky that we've got a guy like Wade Egan who does have a little bit of creativity around him, which is kind of offset what the halves were, or should I say weren't doing. But yeah, I'll take the win. I'm a realist. We are lacking something at the moment, though, and I'm hoping that the boys can find it this weekend against the Titans, who have been a bit of a bogey side for us the past few seasons.
They've won 5 of the last 6 against us, I believe, or it could be 4 of the last 5. But either way, we've only won once against them in recent time. Lost them twice last year, including that 60-point hammering on the Gold Coast. So, yeah. Regardless of who they're playing, they've got players in their side that can hurt you. So,
one thing we do have to do is, because there's a couple of things that the Warriors are good at this year, and that is our possession, maintaining possession. Our completion rate has been very good. We do get up the other end of the field quite well, but we spend a lot of time in opposition halves with good ball sets, but we're unable to convert that into points. We really need to start doing that. And the other thing that's been really good for us this year is obviously our defense. Defensively, as you said before, we're a very good side. We back our defense all the time. We get in these close contests, and we've won a lot of them this year. And in previous seasons, that's something that we probably wouldn't have done. But yeah, for me, it's really a season of growth for us. For me, regardless how the season ends, I think we need to make sure we back it up over the next couple of seasons with how we're going. And the future's certainly bright with the juniors that we've got coming through the pathways, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's the future looks so bright. There's all of a sudden a lot of depth in a lot of positions, and it's going to pay dividends in 3 or 4 years when all these guys have 50 games under their belt, the likes of your Halasemas and your Vaimunga, and also like Jacob Laban and all these young forwards. Tanner Stowers-Smith, the oldest young man you've ever seen, I think you were saying.
Yeah, he is. He's an old man he's an old-looking man in a young man's body.
Yes. What do they call it? A 40-20.
40-20. Yeah. Looks 40. He's 20. Yeah. Mate, let's look at our Dean Bell medal points for this week, brought to you by Vital Man and Natural Australian Supplements for Men. Vital Man, take the lead. Who did you give your 3-2-1s to?
Yeah, it was an interesting one. When you look at the stats, there wasn't a lot of players that made huge meters in this game, but one guy that did and has continued to do throughout the whole season is Aaron Clark. He just kept doing what he's doing. He's so consistent. I gave him my 3 points. Such a high work rate. Busy in attack, a constant threat around the ruck there and close to the line as well. So he got my 3 points. 2 points I gave to RTS. I thought he had a massive game. He's always hungry, looking for work. It's great to have someone like him, a bigger body out in the wing that can take those pressure carries off the line. He did it again. We're watching him warm up and go, look at the size of his calves. Yeah. It's like you wouldn't want to be tackling that. And he still offers so much to our team in the sort of those yardage carries. And 1 point I gave to Wade Egan. Like you mentioned before, it's great to have a hooker that is so crafty and creative, and can operate as like that third playmaker there when the halves are sort of misfiring a little bit like they were on the weekend. So he was always scheming around the ruck, and unlucky to not have a try. He was sparking a lot in attack. It was also great to have a chat to his dad. Great to catch up with his dad, Kyle, who was at the game there. Had a long drive back to his hometown of Lithgow after the game, but always good to catch up with him. So three Clark, 2 RTS, 1 Egan.
Yep. Mate, I gave my 3 points to Aaron Clark also. 155 run meters, 77 post contact, tackle break, 28 tackles. He's just been so good in the middle for us this year. So reliable. We thought with the retirement of Torhu and then losing Dylan Walker that we're going to struggle, but he's been absolutely outstanding. I gave my 2 points to Leka Halasima, and it wasn't just for that last play. As I said, there was a couple of points in that game where he pulled off, made some really important decisions for a young 19-year-old kid, and none more so than that tackle on Fletcher Hunt in the first half, which denied the Knights a certain try. And I think that was a real turning point for our game. And I gave my 1 point to RTS, 265 run meters, 93 post contact, 6 tackle breaks and a line break. Absolutely outstanding. And he's finding a true purple patch of form at the moment. So reliable at the back. So they were my 3-2-1s, which means that Aaron Clark skips ahead a little bit again. Mate, he's out to 51 points in our Dean Bell medal standings. RTS now moves into second with 23, and Wade Egan into third with 20. CNK also up there as well on 23, and the rest are all watching from the grandstands. I think it's it's really a race of one.
It's to lose, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll quickly just chat about the NRLW round 3 game against the Knights. It was the Knights 36 over the Warriors 20 for the second week in a row. Coach Griffiths was able to name an unchanged lineup. The same 17 women have now played the opening 3 rounds of the season for the Warriors, and that creates an environment where these girls can form some combinations and build some relationships. Unfortunately, we did come up against a red-hot Knights outfit. The Knights jumping out to a dominant 24-0 lead in the first half before Warriors winger Peyton Taki Moana scored just before half-time, and she scored another 2 tries in the second half, becoming the first Wahine Toa to score a hat-trick in the NRLW, and she has now taken her season tally of tries to 4, which is the highest try scorers in women's rugby league for the Warriors. And if that seems a little bit weird, prior to this season, the Warriors only played in the 2018, 2019 and 2020 seasons where there was only 4 teams and they only played 3 games, and there wasn't a lot of points scored back in those days. And I think going into this weekend, Ivania Polite was our highest try scorer on 3. So, and she only played 3 games. Only played 3 games. So, Taki Moana's played 3 games and she's got 4 tries. So, there you go. So that was awesome. Michaela Brake got her second try of the season, but I thought the Knights contained her quite well. But yeah, one of those games where we backed up that 14-0 win against Parramatta Eels. At home, came up against a red-hot Knights side who have won 2 premierships in the past 3 seasons. So they're no easy beat side. But yeah, the girls will be better for that experience, I think, and they return home this week and going to play a Titans side who are struggling for form at the moment, but should be a good game. And our 3-2-1 points for this game, I gave 3 points to RP Nichols, just forever busy at the back, gets through a ton of work, really leading this team of young girls quite well. I gave Patton Taki Moana 2 points and Taisha Ikanaseo 1 point, which means RP Nichols has jumped out to a lead with 6 points in our player of the season standings. But after 3 games, it's still pretty close, mate. There's been some comments in the comments section A little bit of Warriors news. The Academy in Logan. There's not a lot we know about that, but take us through it, mate. What's going on up there in Queensland in Logan?
They've set up like I don't know a whole heap about it, but they've set up an academy up there in southeast Queensland. So rugby. So Logan is a bit of a rugby league heartland, as we know. There's been a lot of great players that have come out of that area. Cam Smith probably being the most famous, but let's not forget Warrior number 76, Big Mark Tukey, is from the Logan Brothers, the famous Logan Brothers club there. Yep. And he in turn also had a hand in bringing a young Josh Papali'i through to the Raiders when he was working at the Raiders. So it's a wonderful rugby league nursery. There's a lot of Kiwi expats that live in that area. A lot of high percentage of Polynesians live there as well, and there's a lot of fantastic young nursery there. So it's great that they've been able to get in there and infiltrate Broncos territory, not allowing them to have it all their own way, because for years other clubs have been coming to New Zealand and poaching some of the best talent that we have available, homegrown talent. So it's great that they're taking this initiative, and even better that it's in southeast Queensland, up my neck of the woods, and it'll be great to have like a club presence in that area as well. So they are having a captain's run before the Titans game. That's going to be on Friday, the 22nd of August. And that will be a great opportunity for everyone to get along there and have a look at the setup and what they're planning to do there out in Logan. For those of you who don't know, it's kind of Logan is the area that's kind of in between Brisbane and the Gold Coast. It's a large sort of city area. It's quite big, and like a lot of as I said before, a lot of great rugby league players started their careers there. So yeah, it's exciting. I mean, it's there's a lot of young Kiwi kids that move over to Australia at a young age, and they go through like the Broncos system or the Titans system and that kind of thing, and they take that pathway. Some of these guys will be able to return back to New Zealand, back to their roots, and have that experience as a rugby league player as well. Yeah. So
there hasn't been much discussion on how it's going to function. I don't know if it's going to be for Kiwi kids to come out to Australia, or is it for Aussie-based kids to kind of go through this pathway into the Warriors? I
had kind of thought the latter.
Yep.
But I could be wrong. If anyone else knows any more information, chuck it up in the chat. But that's what I thought, because it's such a strong rugby league nursery up here in southeast Queensland. So yeah,
okay.
And it's good to have a presence there for sure.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, most definitely. So it's going to be interesting. Looking forward to getting there for the captain's run to have a look at the facilities and maybe have a chat to Cameron George and see what it's all about. And maybe we'll reach out to Cam, and I think he's been one of the most featured guests on our podcast, hasn't he?
He'd have to be. He would have to be. Yeah.
Maybe we'll reach out to Cam and see if we can get him on for a bit of a chat in the coming weeks too, to where he can actually we can hear it from the horse's mouth, and he can tell us exactly what's going on there in Logan. But as you said, be great to get Tukes on as well. Great friend of the show. Get Big Mark Tukey, get him on, and he can no doubt tell us what's going on. He is an ambassador for the club. He's probably got a little bit of knowledge about what's going on up there.
Logan Bros Jr. So that'd be great to hear from him as well. And it always a real soft spot for him. He was the first ever guest we had on Ruin Hammer. He was, and he's become a great mate of ours. So yeah, always great to catch up with him.
Sounds good, champ. Just quickly touch on the pathways, the Warriors pathways. The Flegg played the Storm over the weekend at I think it was at North Harbour Stadium.
Yes.
Pathways were at.
Well, the New South Wales Cup definitely was.
Yeah.
I think I might have both been there.
The Flegg went down 48-12 against the Storm. It kind of continues their season of inconsistency from the Flegg boys. Hovering around 8th spot on that ladder. And again, I still don't know. I'm no clearer this week than I have been for the previous 20 weeks. I don't know if it's a top 8 or a top 6 or a top 5 in the flag competition. So yeah, if anyone knows, please let me know. But the Warriors are hovering around 8th spot on that ladder. The New South Wales Cup played my old team, the North Sydney Bears. It was a 32-18 victory over the Bears there at North Harbour Stadium. That winning streak continues. It's now 13 in a row, 16 from 17. The Warriors are now 5 points clear at the top of the table, ahead of the Dragons. This is a top 5, so it looks like they continue this thing, this streak. They'll get the first week off in the finals. Interestingly, with the injury to Luke Metcalf and Tamari Martin being our 14 and Tanner Boyd now playing halfback in the first grade squad, Jet Cleary is the halfback. Yeah, he's the halfback guiding the Cup boys around. I think he's played 3 games now in that Cup system for 3 wins. Does that mean he's next man up, mate? If we get an injury to Tanner Boyd and touch wood we don't, does that make Jet Cleary the next man up?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I reckon they would get Tomato Martin in there at 7 and then move like Sam Healy or maybe even Tane to that 14 role. But then if something should happen after that, hey, we could have let's for the sake of our season, let's just hope that we don't get that many injuries. But who knows, mate? Jet Cleary, it could be another Cleary playing for the Warriors before we know it. Yeah.
Well, could you imagine if something happens in the finals and we end up playing the Panthers in a home semi-final at Mount Smart Stadium, and it's Cleary on Cleary in the halves for both sides? That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Imagine that's his first grade debut. There's a story. There is a story for you. Yeah,
there is a story. Keep those comments coming through. Has there been any talk from the Broncos Dolphins with the move in Logan? I don't think so. It's kind of really fresh news at the moment.
Yeah. We don't know a huge amount about it. There was a little sort of announcement to like the members through the email the other day. But yeah, definitely keen to find out more about that and have a discussion, because it's actually quite exciting and innovative move from the club.
Malcolm Earnshaw sticking his hand up for a job. He's going to coach the rugby, and I did see Brian in the comments earlier. We love you, Brian. We missed you on the weekend, mate. At the game, I did notice that you said something about putting your boots in your bag, and you can back up and play for the boys. Well, you've got an important job on the recorder, mate. So we can't have you on the field.
We can't weaken one position to strengthen another, Brian.
Absolutely. Let's quickly go through the NRL Round 20 recap. Thursday night, the Dolphins 43 over the Cowboys 24. That for me is the Cowboys season
done. That's it. Line through there. What about just quickly? What about Toddy? Does our good mate Toddy Payton, does he survive this season?
You know what? There could be a bit of a coaching merry-go-round at the end of the year.
I reckon. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a game of chess and who moves first and who goes for which candidate. And like, we don't know who's out there, or we do. We know some of the players that are out there, but it's going to be really interesting, this coach watch.
I reckon Toddy would be. I reckon Toddy would be best suited at the Titans. He's a hard-nosed coach.
Yeah.
I reckon he'd be best suited at the Titans.
Well, my good mate Brad, who's a mad Tigers fan, he's actually hoping that Toddy goes back to the Tigers, where he was the big hombre in the grand final. That'd actually be a good story. But a lot needs to happen for that to come into fruition. I think he's talking about in the assistant capacity, but I think that's usually what happens when coaches get sacked. They sort of go into back to an assistant coach role. But watch this space, I think, in the off season.
Absolutely. Sharks on Friday night. Sharks 31 over the Roosters 18. Sharks hit a bit of form at the moment. They're playing some decent footy.
As soon as you wrote them off.
Since I wrote them off 5 weeks ago. But they're at home again. they're like the Broncos. They seem to play every week at home.
And Manly and all these teams, it's like they must have all away games for the rest of the year. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Roosters, their season's on the line. They really can't afford to drop too many more games. They're in that 14 fight for the bottom two sides spots in the 8. Panthers 22 over the Rabbits 6. They've really consolidated their spot in the 8 now. The Panthers, after who would have thought, like, was it 8 weeks ago they were dead last on the ladder?
Yeah, I think around the time they played us without all their Origin players.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rabbits, their season's done.
Injuries have just crippled them, and they've had to reluctantly bring in a $750,000
halfback
prize Pommy recruit Lewis Dodd into their team reluctantly, and I don't know what's going on there, but anyway, it's a Rabbitoh.
I think that's
done.
I think that's just Wayne beating his chest, saying, "I didn't sign this guy. I'm not going to play him."
Yeah, I'd say there's a fair bit of that for sure.
Yeah. Saturday, the Raiders 40 over the Eels 16. Raiders certainly in the box seat now to take out that minor premiership. Eels will not play finals footy in season 2025.
No, they're in the middle of a rebuild.
And you know what? I like how Jason Ryles is owning that.
Yep.
Making some tough decisions. Dylan Brown's not there next season. Dylan Brown's not playing. I think it was 18th man on the weekend or something. And Toddy's, he's released Ryan Madison this week. Not Toddy, Jason Ryles. He's released Ryan Madison this week. So he's embracing the fact that they're in a rebuild, and he's trying to put together the roster that he wants to put together. More power to him.
Agree.
Good on the Eels. Bulldogs 20 over the Dragons 18. Heartbreaking loss for the Dragons. A try in the final minutes. That brave player throwing that brave ball that no other player would have the guts to throw in a game of football. Wank.
The first time it's ever been done, apparently, by the way that everyone was going on about it, hey?
I think the Dragons were hard done by. I think the ruck penalty against Luciano Leilua should have gone the other way. Jacob Carraz not getting to his feet, planting the ball. That's a penalty against that player every day of the week.
Yeah.
And then I can get away with the kick-out pass into the St. George player.
It's inconclusive, I guess. Like, it's really hard to see because it happened so fast. But like, you do see those rules knock on all the time. So they got the rough end of the stick, that's for sure. But I think they're done as well for 2025.
Sea Eagles 18 over the Storm 16. Got to be the upset of the round, especially down in Melbourne. Melbourne don't lose too many games in Melbourne, but they looked vulnerable and pretty awful, didn't they? Yeah,
they did. Manly, though, throughout the last probably 10 years or so, have been able to get the odd upset in Melbourne. I remember DCE kicking a few field goals down there, and it's always a close game, but they played really well. They've had a bit of a turnaround in form at the right time of the season for them, saving old Siebes' skin there.
Yeah.
And, they're definitely within the frame for finals position. And what are we saying? It was Jazz Tavunga's first ever win in Melbourne.
Yes.
What I mean, because all those years playing at the Warriors when we never won there. And
it's funny because they asked Luke Brooks in the post-match, they said, "Is this the first time you've ever won in Melbourne?" He goes, "No, I've won here before."
No, I won here before. Yeah.
I was trying to think
the Tigers won there. I think they won there back in 2018 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, no, I've won here heaps of times.
Yeah, okay. And then Sunday, speaking of the Tigers 21 over the Titans 20. Final minute field goal sealed victory for the Tigers in that one. And then two teams that won't play finals footy. Titans will be lucky to win a game the rest of the year. And I should really not say that because they play us twice.
Mate, so what are you doing? They might win two more games the way that the streak against us has been going. But look, I mean, even Tigers fan, even Brad saying, "Geez, that was an average game," and they got away with it in the end with that wonky old field goal. What about Desi's dressing down of the players in front of new club owner outright owner Rebecca Frizzell in the dressing room. What do you make of that? And what do you make of the whole Desi situation? So apparently this week is his 500th game as a coach, and they're reportedly allowing him to coach this game, and then apparently he's going to be cut loose after that. What do you make of that?
First, I'll address Ted Clark's comment. Yep. Your thoughts on the penalty against the Storm where the hooker was penalised for touching Luke Brooks's foot. Unfortunately, it's always a penalty now. We had it go in our favour last year, I think it was, on Sean Johnson.
It was against Manly.
Yeah.
They got us that draw against Manly last year, so they were on the other end of it then, but they benefited from it on Saturday night.
I'm not a fan of it because I really don't think there was any it didn't hurt Luke Brooks in any way. But I mean, it is the rule in the game, and they did show some footage during the week on NRL 360 because there are 16 teams in the comp as far as NRL 360 are concerned. It's just the Warriors don't exist. They did show that Harry Grant does have a bit of form with this.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's been done.
So, yeah, I'm quite happy. But, yeah. What were we talking about?
Desi.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. He's an old school coach, Desi, and he's going to be coaching his 500th game. And you don't coach 500 games in the NRL as a head coach if you don't know what you're doing. But yeah, I mean, I think he's lost the locker room up there at the Titans, and I think that it's untenable for him to be there any further past this season. They're saying that they're going to let him coach his 500th game and then they'll release him after this weekend. So let's see.
Surely you just let him finish the season. I mean, after this game, there's only another 5 games left in the year. I mean, there's varying opinions out there about Dez's coaching credentials, but the fact is he's won 2 premierships, had a great record there at Manly, and took the Dogs to another 2 grand finals. So do you think he deserves the respect to at least see out the season?
As a 500 game coach, yes. As the Titans coach, no, because he's done nothing up there. I think he's had 14 wins in his tenure or something like that. So the Titans don't owe him anything. I mean, the Titans have paid him to do a job, which he's failed to do. But, yeah, I mean, is it the coach or is it the culture of the club and the players that they have up there? Because, you know, Neil Hendry couldn't get anything out of him. Justin Holbrook couldn't get anything out of him. Desi's been able to get out of it. Garth Brennan couldn't get anything out of him. It's just been one of those clubs where, they just can't for whatever reason it is, and they blame the glitter strip and all that
going
kind
up
of
there
stuff,
for a holiday, all the distractions and everything. At the end of the day, I mean, they're professional footy players, and I think. Like they're never going to struggle to get players to go there, but the question has always been like, are players going there for the right reason, and are they getting them at the right time in their career? But I mean, they were able to get Tino there, a young Tino, who had just left the Storm. They got David Fafita there. They've got so much young talent there in the back line. They've got Brimson, they've got Campbell, they've got Cam Pereira, who has actually been dropped for this week, which I'm happy about. They got speed to burn in their back line. They've always had good players in the field, but for whatever reason, they haven't been able to put it together consistently since the John Cartwright days, back in early when they first came in. I mean, the Gold Coast franchises before the Titans were basically complete failures. There's no 2 ways about that. And this was supposed to be, okay, we're going to do it properly now on the Gold Coast. So actually based on the Gold Coast this time, not Tweed Heads. That's what the whole Titans thing was about. And like you said, they've made the finals, 4 times in about 18 years. And it doesn't seem to matter who's coaching them. They had famously Jared Hayne come back there to play. Yeah, and if anything, he made them worse. So yeah, they're a basket case of a franchise. It reminds me a bit of the talk that was going on about us maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah,
you know, and I don't know what it is, but yeah. I don't know how much difference a new coach is going to make, even if they got Wayne Bennett in there. Is he going to be able to?
I think they need someone with a strong personality. Desi, and I'm not saying Des doesn't have a strong personality, but even at the Bulldogs, Des was a weirdo.
Just communication. Like you got to wonder how the players sit there and listen to him when he comes across as really inarticulate in the press conferences. Like, it's like, and they said that one of his biggest downfalls is his communication. So
yeah.
But
I mean, they've got everything up there. They've got the build a centre of excellence up there.
Yeah.
You know, that stadium's a great stadium. I don't know. I've got no idea. I mean, it's not that I don't care, but I don't really care because it's not my team. But the thing that worries me is that so much talk about the Titans this week and Des's 500th game.
Yeah.
Does it galvanise them and they come out and play this a wonderful game of footy against the Warriors at Go Media Stadium on Saturday?
But then you got to ask yourself, well, if they haven't been playing for Des up until now, what's going to change that on Saturday? Are they going to suddenly get turned around and do that? But look, honestly, like I'm still nervous about this one. I know they're sitting where they're sitting, and I know I'm me. What I'm going to say.
We'll get to that in a minute, mate, when you can talk about a close 4-point win. And just finishing off the round, the Broncos, of course, had the bye. So the ladder after round 20, the Raiders remain on top of the ladder on 34 points. They're 2 points clear of the Bulldogs in second place on 32 points. That loss by the Storm drops them to third on 30 points. Same points as the Warriors, also on 30 points in fourth spot. Then you got the Broncos in fifth, 4 points behind on 26 points. The Panthers a point behind them on 25. The Seagulls and Sharks on 24, rounding out the top 8. And then you've got the Dolphins and the Roosters, both on 22 points. And as far as I'm concerned, the only other teams that can force their way into the 8, everyone below that 22 points can't make it. You got the Dragons and Tigers on 18, the Cowboys on 17, the Knights, Rabbits and Eels on 16, with the Titans last on the ladder on 14 points. They can all head to the travel agent and start booking their end-of-season trips for September.
Yeah. I heard the Gold Coast is a good location for a holiday.
Yeah. And I agree with Jacko. If we can't knock the Titans without Tino, let's not forget they haven't got David Fafita either, but he hasn't really played all season. But if we can't knock them over, we shouldn't even be in the top 8.
Agreed.
NRLW recap, round 3. I'll quickly go through this. The Eels 46 over the Raiders 12. Raiders continue their woeful home record of 9 straight losses at home, going back to 2023. And I think this season that's 138 points they've had scored against them in 3 games. Absolutely crazy. Yeah. Because they've got a decent side on paper, the Raiders. So don't know what's going on down there. The Dragons 18 over the Bulldogs 15. Dogs' first loss of the season. Great win by the Dragons. Couple of golden point coming down to Golden Point. It was 14 all. A couple of field goals and then bang, a win to the Dragons. Cowboys 16 over the Sharks 14. Good bounce back win from the Cowboys. Sharks came back down to earth after their huge win against the Raiders last week. And then Sunday we had the Titans get their first win of the season, 24-12 over the Tigers. The Roosters 30 over the Broncos 26. And then the Knights 36 over the Warriors 20. Roosters sitting on top of the table, only undefeated team on 6 points. Then you got the Broncos, Eels, Knights, Bulldogs, Dragons, and Cowboys, all on 4 points. Then it's the Sharks, Warriors, and Titans on 2, with the Tigers and Raiders yet to taste victory in season 2025. Round 21, mate. We're talking about it. We go back home against the Titans. Have you got our team list for this weekend?
Certainly have. So the team that was named by Webby to take on the Titans, Chance Nickel-Klukstar returns at fullback in place of Tane Tuapiki. On the wings, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. The centres named Adam Pompey and Kurt Capewell. They're still there in the centres. Halves, Chanel Harris-Tavita and Tanner Boyd. The front row, James Fisher-Harris, Wade Egan and Jacko Ford. the back row of Leka Halasima, Murata Niokore, and Aaron Clark. On the bench, Tamade Martin, Jacob Laban, Demetric Vaimunga, Tanner Stower-Smith, and the reserves interchange, extended bench, Tane Tuapiki, Sam Healy, Bunty Afoa, Ali Leatawa, and Eddie Iremia Tuiava.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. A lot of talk out there about Tane being very hard done by, and I would agree that he was. He's been fantastic for us the last couple of weeks. But I think it's been well known that Webby is a massive fan of CNK. And I think he was always, going to come back in the team when he was fit. Webby's a big fan of defensive-minded fullbacks, and Chance is definitely that. So he gets back into the team. I agree. Tane is hard done by, but it's hard to see where else he fits in the team. There's also been talk about Dallin being lucky to retain his spot, but at the same time, the whole Tane on the wing thing, I think, worked for a little bit, but it wasn't ever a long term. I don't think it was a long term solution. Tane, as great as he is with his speed, ball playing abilities, everything, he is a pretty small body, or smaller body, and Dallin, when he's in form, and let's hope that starts this week. He's obviously the first winger picked in the side. So a few things he needs to work on this week, and I'm sure Webby's addressed that. What are your thoughts on the whole Tane situation?
Yeah, look, Tane's an electrifying player. Can create great off both feet, can create a bit of a gap. But like you said, he's not one of the biggest body fullbacks going around. And the thing that we have is with CNK is whenever CNK is playing, Chance Nickel Crookstad, his ball return at the back is always on point. He makes, 200 plus meters every game that he plays. And you watch when we're coming out of yardage, he'll have 2 of the first 4 carries on a lot of sets. Gets our set started off well. You have, CNK, then you get Roger, then you get Dallin, and then 9 times out of 10, it'll be CNK again to get those yardage sets moving upfield. To get us in a position where Tanner Boyd can, put in a good kick downfield. So I'm definitely not against CNK being named at 1. And I agree with what you say. I think as much as Tane's got a lot of ability and could maybe cover other positions, his best position is 1. And if he's going to stay at the club and be at our club, I think he's got to resign himself to the fact that he's the backup for CNK. I mean, there's 30 guys on our 30-man roster, and only 17 get to play first grade every week. And some guys don't get to play first grade at all in that season. And you've got to be, I guess, realistic about what your role within that squad is. And I don't think there's any illusion. I think Tane knows exactly what his role is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And same like Tanner Boyd. Like Tanner Boyd re-signed or activated the option in his favour to stay at the club next year before he even was given his club debut. So I think Webby's got these guys with the right mentality, knowing what their role is, and the next man up mentality, people going in to do a job. But yeah, the only issue for me is maybe Catewell in the centres. And the other one too is Niokore on an edge. I think Niakore's days as an edge-back rower may be coming to an end, and he may follow in Tohu's footsteps where he shifts into the middle. Tohu used to be a great edge-back rower when he was at the Storm and coming to the Warriors, but as he got older, he kind of ventured into the middle. I think maybe Niokore might, because when you got guys like Vaimunga and Leka Halasima and Laban coming through, these are the guys that are the future of the club that are out-and-out edge-back rowers, and you can see what they do when they get their opportunities on the field. So, but I say it week after week. I'm not going to second guess Webby. He is our coach, and this is the team he's picked. And I think we'll do a job on the Titans. As Jacko said earlier, if we can't beat the Titans, we really shouldn't be in the 8. We're at home. It's going to be a sellout. No Tino or Fafita for the Titans. Who else is out, did you say? Cam Pereira?
Yeah, Cam Pereira's been dropped, so they got Jalen DeGroot and Filthy Phil Sami on the wings.
Yeah, and yeah, Gannon next year on an edge as well. Titans have really struggled this year. I can't see them having any bit of form about them coming into this one. I will say that our attack looked pretty ordinary on the weekend from both our halves, so hoping those guys both step up. Pressure's going to be on Tanner Boyd this week to bounce back after what was probably a forgettable game for him in a lot of departments.
Well, certainly a forgettable final 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And look, Tanner Boyd and Aaron Clark coming up against their old clubs. So,
yes.
Yeah. And also the final time that we will see Kieran Foran play in New Zealand.
Yeah, true.
You're waiting for me to go ex-Warriors legend Kieran Foran?
You get ex-Warrior. He did play one season where we pulled him out of the dark depths of depression and handed him a lifeline. And I think 5 games into his tenure, he's told us he was on the Bulldogs. So, yeah. Great. Thanks, Kieran. Yeah, Jacko, I agree on his kick for Pomps was top class. And I said earlier in the podcast, the webcast, I thought we should have tried that a little bit more in that game as well, because we had a fullback in Dane Gagai not used to playing at the back that we could have caught out of position a couple of times, but yeah, wasn't to be.
Dallin had better hands as well. He was laying it on a dime for him every time. So
yeah,
you watch that to be the play again.
What's your tip for this game, mate? Or do I not need to ask?
No, look, I think the Warriors, like if as you guys have said, if we can't win this, then we may as well. There's no point in us making the top 8, basically, because this is the Titans team that's got everything against them, struggling. Coach has lost the dressing shed, pulling players out of the shower to listen to him shout at them incoherently. I'm gonna go Warriors by 14, but I get the feeling it's going to be a game similar to the Tigers game where, it's fairly even for about 60, 65 minutes, and I think we can sort of pull away at the end. I think the score might be sort of similar to the scoreline we saw against the Tigers, because I think the attack's got a fair bit to go, but it's a good. I mean, it's much better to come up against the Titans this week than say Melbourne or Penrith or someone like that. Hopefully we can get some for and against ticking over as well, which will help us in the back end. Yeah,
true.
Your thoughts?
Oh, look, Buzzman's saying he can see Foran having a blinder. The Kieran Foran winding back the clock and
I
don't know. I don't think his legs will take him there, mate. I think this is a game where we blow the Titans off the park.
You guys said this about the Knights as well.
I noticed that the Godfather's in the chat there. Richie Morgan, how are you, buddy?
Evening, Rich.
If you weren't in at the beginning of the show, mate, make sure you go back and have a listen to the opening 15 minutes, because it was all talking about what a great event we had on the weekend at Newcastle, talking about Warrior Nation and how everyone can get involved. And I did notice Troy Adamson in the chat a couple of minutes ago too. Troy, we did give you a bit of a shout out too, mate, for the great work you do behind the lens, capturing all the moments of the nation in the crowd. So Richie Morgan saying 20 plus. 20 plus for the Warriors this week. I agree. I think this is definite big win by the Warriors. We make a statement here at home. And I'll say Warriors by 22. That's my...
I'll take that.
Yeah, Warriors by 22. It's a double header, or it might be a triple header, is it? I don't know.
Not 100% on that one.
I don't know if the Cup are playing there as well. Double header, definitely, where the Warriors women return home to host the Titans. Have you got the team list for the women, mate?
I can get it. Just
I do know a couple of changes. Lydia Taruva Quedley has been named to start at halfback. Emily Curtin is out injured. Matakino Gray, she's been elevated to the starting 13 with Lavinia Kitai moving back to the bench. Michaela Eli coming onto the bench to make her NRL debut. She's been our 18th woman for the past 3 rounds. And Avery Rose Carmon named to make her NRL debut off the bench as well. Daughter of former Knights and Kiwi star George Carmon. So they're the changes.
I've got the team here if you want me to go through it, or
if you want to quickly go through it, you can, mate.
Yep. Yeah, Arpy Nichols, Michaela Brake, Taisha Ikanasio, Emanita Paki, Peyton Takibawana, Patricia Maliipo, and Lydia Turua Kedley in the halves. Front row, Harada Butler, Capri Peku, Matakino Gray in the front row, and the edge, Shakira Baker, Kayla Atai, and Lation Albert Jones at lock. On the bench, as he said, Avery Rose Carmon, Mari Pukitapu, Lavinia Kitai, and Michaela Eli rounding out the game day 17. Okay. So Jacko was saying the Cup might play at 12:30. So it's
beautiful.
Big game day for you guys over in NZ. So make sure you get there, watch the Cup boys at 12:30, support the girls after that, and then the men, which would kick off 5 o'clock local time, 3 o'clock over here in Australia.
Absolutely. Titans coming off their first win of the season, mate, heading over to New Zealand. Big game for one Titan in particular, Titans captain and former Warrior number 7, Georgia Hale, returning home for the first time to play for a number of seasons. We were all hoping that she'd return home to be wearing a Warriors jersey this season, not to be. Still contracted to the Titans, so she'll come home. Going to be a big homecoming for her. But I like our girls. I thought our girls fought really hard on the weekend against a Knights outfit that, got out to a big 24-0 lead against them. They did work hard. I like our edges. Ikanaseo in the centres, very, very good. We got Taki Moana and Michaela Brake on the wings. I think Lation Albert Jones has been working really hard in the middle. And Arpy Nichols has been outstanding at the back. So I am going to say that we have a 8-point victory against the Titans at home.
Yeah, I think we'll get up as well. Absolutely. We showed a lot of heart in that second half in Newcastle to get back into that game, and it'd be good for the girls to get back home and put on a performance in front of the home crowd. So I'm going to back them in. Yeah.
Hey, Richie, if you've got the link there in your chat from previous chats, do you want to jump in, mate? And we'll get you to talk about the upcoming Warrior Nation events and the Warrior Nation page and where you can find everything. And Rob and I will just quickly go through a round preview of round 21. And if you can't find it, just let us know. I'll get Rob to resend it to you.
So same link, Rich. Yep.
Same link, Rich, if you want to jump in. Round 21, NRL round 21. We've got Thursday night. Excuse me. Roosters versus Storm. What's your pick, mate?
Look, Roosters are desperate, but I think the Storm will be too good, even without Munster. I'm picking them to make it harder road for the Roosters to make the finals this year. I think they're close to having a line run through them as well.
I think Roosters need to win this to stay in touch with the top 8. So I'm with you, mate. I think the Storm will bounce back. The Storm rarely lose 2 games in a row. And even without Munster, I think they'll get the job done. Friday night kicks off with the Cowboys versus Dragons up there at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. I don't think it's really going to have much impact on who plays finals footy. This is all for pride. Who do you reckon gets this one, mate?
I think the Cowboys at home. I just think they've still got a fair few points in them, and I think they'll be a little bit too good for the Dragons up there. I think it'll be a high scoring game though, sort of a bit of a back and forward type match. But I'll stick with the Cowboys.
I'm going to go the Dragons. I've liked what I've seen from the Dragons. They've been in their games recently. So I'm going to, as much as it kills me to say it, I'm going to go the Dragons in this one. But again, I don't think it has much impact on how the ladder will fare in a couple of weeks' time. The Broncos versus Eels. Broncos coming off the bye. Eels, I don't know, rebuilding. Who do you pick?
Mate, Broncos are going to boost their for and against even further here, and we're going to hear more about the young superstar.
Reece Walsh.
That is Reece Walsh, especially if one Mick Ennis is in the commentary box.
Well, Mick Ennis will be shooting his load if Reece Walsh is playing and Peter Goff is the ref.
And Liam Kennedy is on the sideline.
Referee Peter Goff does love a good ruck penalty.
He loves a ruck penalty, does Peter Goff.
Saturday kicks off with the Warriors versus Titans. We've both tipped a Warriors victory in that one. Panthers versus Tigers. I think that's a CommBank choice.
Oh, yeah, look, the Panthers, if they want to be, they're much like us. If they want to be considered a serious threat in this competition, they can't lose to the Tigers at their home. I know it's not their home, but I think they'll be way too good in that one.
So I'm just checking my messages to see if Richie's having trouble getting in. Rabbits versus Sharks. Mate. I picked the Panthers in that last game too. Panthers versus Tigers, I think. Yeah. Rabbits versus Sharks. Probably at a core this one. I don't know. I haven't written it down. What's your...
You mean the Sharks aren't going to have their 7th home game in a row? Look, they as we said, they've had a return to form. The Rabbitohs they're struggling to put a team on the park, and I think the Sharks will be too good for them. Way too good.
Yeah, I think the Sharks get that one in a canter. Sunday, Raiders versus Knights at GIO Stadium.
Raiders will be far too strong. I think they'll put the Knights to the sword. Yeah,
I think so too. And the Bulldogs versus Seagulls at Accor.
This is a tough one. This is probably one of the hardest ones to pick this weekend, I think. Ordinarily, you'd say Bulldogs comfortably at Accor Stadium. But with the Manly side winning that game in last week against Storm in Melbourne, they've won their last 3 games, and they're sort of quietly going about their business. Old Siebes has got them entrenched in the bottom of that top 8. So, look, I'm going to go Manly.
I'm going to go Manly too. I think Manly will get them. I think
Manly will beat the Canterbury Galvins.
I think Manly are the dark horse at the moment in that run for the 8. I think they're a team that can really cause some problems for a lot of teams. Because, mate, on paper, that team's a great side, and they should be higher than where they are. I thought they might be a top 4 side this year. Turbo's starting to get a bit of form about his play as well. He's, and he plays both sides of the ruck as well. He's kind of like a roving centre. I'm going to pick the Sea Eagles in that one. And the Dolphins have the bye. And then in the NRLW, mate, Warriors versus Titans kick off the NRLW on Saturday. I agree with Jacko. Our girls just need time to gel properly, and I agree. But I think coming back home, playing in front of that home crowd, I think we'll get the win over the Titans. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I think the Warriors girls, the Wahine Toa, will get the win at home again. Yep. Second win of the season.
Absolutely. Second game is the Roosters versus the Bulldogs. Roosters undefeated. Bulldogs have had a great first couple of games in their inaugural NRLW season, coming up against the form side of the NRLW, the reigning premiers, got speed and skill all across the park. Yeah, it's a tough assignment, and I think the experienced Roosters will get the Bulldogs in this one.
Yeah, hard to see the Roosters not winning this one. Yeah.
Cowboys versus Raiders at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Cowboys had a great win last weekend. Raiders, as I said, have had 138 points put on them, but they're not at home. They're finally playing away.
Finally get away from home. It's like the reverse of what most teams hope for. I don't think it'll matter. I think the Cowboys will have a comfortable win over them up there.
I'm going to pick the Raiders.
You think that's going to be the
they're too good a side not to win a game of footy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick the Raiders in this one. I'll probably live to regret that one. Sunday we got the Eels versus the Knights.
That's a tough one. I'll go Eels.
I'll go Eels as well.
Yeah.
I think they'll get Rachel Pearson will get them home. Dragons versus the Broncos. Going to be an interesting game because the Dragons have played pretty good in the 3 games that they've played this season. They got that good win last weekend against the Bulldogs. Broncos, star-studded team, came up against the Roosters and took them to, within 4 points of that or 6 points of that win. I'm going to pick the Broncos, mate. I think they might be just a little bit too classy for the Dragons with Tamika Upton at the back.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Broncos will get a win, especially being back at home. So
yeah. And the last one I've got is the Sharks versus the Tigers. I don't know where this has been played. It's got the Sharks as home team, but I didn't write down where any of the games have been played. I can't imagine they'd be at Shark Park.
No, Sharks. I don't think it matters where it is. I think the Sharks will win this one.
Sharks will win, definitely. Any word from Richie Morgan, mate?
No, might have to get him on next week. Actually, nothing come through, so he might be otherwise engaged. So that's okay. We can get Richie on next week.
Yep.
Just to talk about some of those events coming up and how you can get involved. So
I'll let them know. So we've got 2 games at Go Media Stadium. This weekend we've got the Titans and then we've got the Dolphins at Go Media Stadium. Our next game in Sydney for the Warrior Nation Sydney faithful is the Bulldogs at Accor Stadium. There is no pre-game pub meetup for this one. The meetup is going to be in the stadium. It's a 3:20 kickoff for New South Wales Cup, a 5:15 kickoff for the NRLW into the 7:30 kickoff for their main game. The Bulldogs are predicting a crowd of 70,000 people. It's going to break the all-time regular round record for a crowd.
A core sellout.
Yep. Yes. We want to claim the general admission away area where we all sat for the Rabbitohs game. And to do that, we want everyone that's coming along to get out there early, get there at 3:20, and that's going to be our pre-game meetup in the stands, creating a bit of an atmosphere and taking over that whole area at Accor Stadium so that the Doggies fans don't get in there. Going to be a great event in the stands there. Doggies fans will get there. They're going to try and claim that area, but we're going to claim it. Richie has put the call out. You can jump on the Warrior Nation Facebook page, go to the events. It's got all the information in there. It'll have a link where you can buy your tickets from Ticketek. Make sure you get your tickets in that. That's way too many Lebos. Absolutely. And they've come out of the woodwork now because the Bulldogs are playing.
Haven't they?
That's good footy. So that's the pre-game meetup for that one. Then in a couple of weeks, we've got the Titans at Seabus Super Stadium. We do have a pre-game event at the Sporting Globe. We are working hard to make sure Warrior 121 Steve Price attends that. That'd be great to have.
Negotiating that is at the moment. So yeah,
absolutely. and we'll make sure that the usual suspects of Tukes and Campo are there as well, and we'll put the call out for any other Southeast Queensland based Warriors. We know Michael Witt can't get there, but we will try and speak to Nathan Friend, Tony Martin, PJ Marsh,
whoever else we can muster up.
Yeah, there's a couple of ex-Warriors that live up there on the coast, so we'll put the call out, see if we can get any of those guys. And then the final one's going to be when we play Manly at Four Pines Park, final round of the season. There'll be a pre-game meetup at Brookvale Hotel, and then the Hikoi to the stadium. But we'll get Richie on next week. He can tell everyone about the Bulldogs pre-game meetup. But like I said, if you just get on the Warrior Nation page, all the information is on there. Look forward to seeing everyone at those events. Bit of housekeeping, mate.
Yeah, mate. Absolutely. Make sure you guys check out Vital Man. Speaking of Warrior 134, Michael Witt, check out his products at vitalman.com.au for all your men's supplement needs, meal replacement shakes, and male energizer. It's fantastic products. I use them myself every day, and you can get 20% off your order by using the code RuinHammer. So go and check it out. Vital Man, take the lead. A massive shout out, as always, to our Patreons. Thank you so much for all your continued support. If you would like to support us and what we do in Patreon, please follow the link on your screen, Ru_and_hammer, and you can join our Patreon crew. We're always first to let you guys know about what's coming on, any guests that are coming up, and also entitles you to first look at our merchandise. And also you can get you can subscribe to our gold package, which entitles you to merchandise. And Sean and Malcolm and everyone else, I've sent out your shirts, Alf as well. So I hope you guys are all enjoying your Ruin Hammer merchandise. Speaking of which, if merchandise is your thing and you want to grab yourself a Leka Halasima shirt as being modeled there by Hammer, then make sure you go to our Redbubble store. That's where you can get it from. Make sure you go through our Redbubble store. You can get yourself that Leka Halasima shirt. The famous Up the Waz shirt from 2023. I've done a 2025 version of that one. So you can get your hands on that. It's about to be modeled here again by Hammer. So there you go. It's got the classic Up the Waz font, celebrating all the great moments from 2025 so far. Might need to update that to get another Leka image in there as well after last week. But James Fisher Harris shirt, Aaron Clark shirt, which we gave away as a prize at the game day on Newcastle. So make sure you jump in there, check it out, and a small portion of the proceeds do come back to us and support us in what we do. So we greatly appreciate all you guys that have bought merch, and if you want to get some, check it out on the link on your screen there.
Absolutely, it's good quality merch too.
Absolutely, we'll print it on Gildan shirts. Yep,
yeah, absolutely. That wraps up tonight's show. Thank you everyone who joined us tonight, who tuned in. To everyone who contributed in the chat. Always great to see you all. We will be back next Wednesday night, where we will break down hopefully our victory against the Titans in both the men's and the women's, and preview our Dolphins game. Everyone stay safe. If you're going to the game, be loud and proud at Go Media Stadium. Up the Waz, guys.